Why is Flowey there the first time I boot up the game? I've not opened this game since we completed the pacifist route. So this is terrifying. Hi everyone, I'm back after a long hiatus. And we'll be back to streaming. Thank you, MJ. Thank you, Mal. I really appreciate you guys so much. 11 months and 10 months. That's crazy, you guys. That is nuts. So, the plan today is that I'll be doing the genocide run. It's very grindy. So, in the areas where we're just going back and forth to defeat monsters, we're going to be listening to the Magnus Archives. So, menace 9 months, my goodness gracious. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. Water, thank you for the bits, I really appreciate it. So that's what we're going to, so right now, I just opened the game. I was not going to stream before 10. And I was going to test out if the aspect ratio and everything still works. And then I'm greeted by Flowey. So I figured I should probably turn on stream. So here we are. I'm going to see what this is about. So hi Asriel. Uh-oh, yeah. Yay. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Huh? What? What? Am I still doing pacifist right now? You know who I'm talking about, don't you? Donald Trump. That's right. Me? And I will. Oh no. Yes, you do. It was. Oh my God, what? Thank you, Aster, I appreciate you. Just let them go? Let first be happy? Aww. Okay. I haven't. This is the first I'm ever hearing of this. Bye, Asriel. I. Ah, no! I'm in fail. Casper, without spoiling anyone else, what do you think of the episode Save the Amazing Digital? Some of the best animating I've ever seen from an indie project. Another Mal. What is this sound? You hear that? Chat, what do we want? What do we want to do? I think, guys, that I've decided that we are probably going to do Deltarune, and I don't want to do the genocide route. I'm so sorry. I'm kidding. I am kidding. I'm actually doing it. But we're not cast this time. For you have angered him. And now you will reap what you have sown. So Jay, I'm gonna repeat it. Genocide run is very, very grindy. When we are grinding to just kill everything, we will be listening to the Magnus Archives. Okay? So let's get through the tutorial and we'll start, okay? All right. Where are you, Astral? I know. I know. No, I'm not. Ba ba da da ba ba da ba ba da da ba 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 da ba. Love is shared through little white friendliness posts. No, they're not. Nope. Fuck you. The music is like, are you brain dead? Is crazy. No, Jay, I'm good. Yes, I do, Astral. That's right. Toriel. 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 Mother. Bim, bim, bim. Hi, Lorelai. I know. You're the first. So, just for reference, also for YouTube, I skipped the dialogue that I've already read, right? So that's why it's so fast. So if you do think like, why is he skipping the dialogue? Go check out the other videos. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, you're gonna have to kill her. It's okay, because I know she's in Deltarune. So this is not the real Toriel. Yep. Let's kill him. Die. I'm sorry, Toriel. You're insane? Yeah, welcome to my life and my content. There's another puzzle in this room. What if you can solve it? No, wait. Oh, I can already do it? Die, fuck it. So, can I already do it now? Chat. No total glare them away. You're no? Okay, so we wait. Yeah. Yo! Young Blizzle, thank you for the gifted. I really appreciate that. My goodness gracious. Never heard your evil laugh? Wait until the song that releases after Sisyphus. Thank you for the 5 gifts. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. I would like you to walk to the end of the room by yourself. Forgive me for this. This song is called Unnecessary Tension. Why are you guys saying Ayo? Oh, because of the song, yeah. Don't worry, I did not leave you. Thank you, Toriel. Can you maybe give me a wife? One who deserves me? One who might be worthy of my time? Yeah, you can see you, aye. Nice ones, too. Give me the cell phone. I'm gonna miss we can't interact with Sans anymore. Man. Hello, Lorelai. Okay, so now, here's where it starts, right? Yep. I know. So this is where it starts, right? Is this where it starts, chat? Just keep going? That's because I need to put on the Magnus Archives if it's just grinding now. What's up, Chaos Waffle? Tell me... Yeah, start the... Okay, so we start the grinding here. I'm very sorry, Toby. How do I open my... Here. How do I open the settings? Can I turn off the music? Even though that's a crime to do here. Is there a way for me to turn off the music, or do I have to just mute the sound of the game? I don't care about the monsters, Lisa. They will all die. You can't... Yeah. Crazy doing this on Undertale's 10th anniversary? I know. Okay, well then I guess this is gonna hurt me, but we're gonna have to turn off the music and the sounds manually. Ugh! Oh no! Okay. Okay. We're gonna start with anglerfish. Is that correct? Okay. There's an audio change to the start. Yeah, I know, but I'll be able to tell when no monsters, like when the monsters aren't spawning anymore. Is the audio okay, like loudness wise?
Rusty Quill presents the Magnus Archives.
Yep, okay, good.
Episode 1, Anglerfish.
Like an actual fish? Oh.
Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3. Right. My name is Jonathan Sims. I work for the Magnus Institute, London.
Hello, Jonathan.
An organization dedicated to academic research into the esoteric and the paranormal.
Whatever that means.
The head of the institute, Mr. Elias Bouchard, has employed me to replace the previous head archivist, one Gertrude Robinson. who has recently passed away.
Rip.
I've been working as a researcher at the Institute for 4 years now, and I'm familiar with most of our more significant contracts and projects.
Nice.
Most reach dead ends, predictably enough, as incidents of the supernatural, such as they are, and I always emphasize there are very few genuine cases, tend to resist easy conclusions.
Okay.
When an investigation has gone as far as it can, it is transferred to the archives. Now, the Institute was founded in 1818,
By Magnus.
which means that the archive contains almost 200 years of case files at this point. Combine that with the fact that most of the Institute prefers the ivory tower of pure academia to the complicated work of dealing with statements or recent experiences, and you have the recipe for an impeccably organized library.
This guy sounds like
and an
Smolio.
absolute mess of an archive. This isn't necessarily a problem.
Okay.
Modern filing and indexing systems are a real wonder, and all it would need is a half-decent archivist to keep it in order. Gertrude Robinson was apparently not that archivist.
Damn!
From where I am sitting, I can see thousands of files, many spread loosely around the place, others crushed into unmarked boxes.
Oh.
A few have dates on them, or helpful labels such as 86-91G/H. Not only that, but most of them appear to be handwritten or produced on a typewriter, with no accompanying digital or audio versions of any sort.
The hell?
In fact, I believe the first computer to ever enter this room is the laptop that I brought in today. More importantly, it seems as though little of the actual investigations have been stored in the archive.
Oh, that scared the shit out of me. Thank you, Jay.
The files are the
14 months,
statements
wow.
themselves.
Thank you, I appreciate you.
It is going to take me a long time to organize this mess.
Good luck.
I've managed to secure the services of 2 researchers to assist me.
Oh.
Well, technically 3, but I don't count Martin as he's unlikely to contribute anything but delays.
Yeah, fuck you,
I
Martin.
plan to digitize the files as much as possible and record audio versions, though some will have to be on tape recorder, as my attempts to get them on my laptop have met with significant audio distortions.
Oh?
Alongside this, Tim, Sasha, and, yes, I suppose Martin, will be doing some supplementary investigation to see what details may be missing from what we have. I'll try to present these in as succinct a fashion as I can at the end of each statement. I can unfortunately promise no order in regards to date or theme of the statements that are recorded, and can only apologize to any future researcher attempting to use these files for their own investigations.
Smart.
That's probably enough time spent making my excuses for the state of this place.
But can a mod
I
please
suppose
change
we have to
the
begin
title to
somewhere.
have 18 plus in the beginning?
Statement of Nathan Watts regarding an encounter on Old Fish Market Close, Edinburgh. Original statement given April 22nd, 2012. Audio recording by Jonathan Sims,
Okay.
head archivist of the Magnus Institute, London. Statement begins. This all happened a couple of years ago, so I apologize if some of the details are a bit off. I mean, I feel like I remember it clearly, but sometimes things are so weird that you start to doubt yourself. Still, I suppose weird is kind of what you guys do, right? So I'm studying at the University of Edinburgh,
That's not gonna
biochemistry specifically, and I was in my second year at the time this happened. I wasn't in any sort of university accommodation at this point and was renting a student flat down in Southside with a few other second years.
Hell yeah.
To be honest, I didn't hang out with them much. I took a gap year before matriculating, and my birthday's in the wrong part of September, so I was nearly 2 years older than most of my peers when I started my course. I got on with them fine, you understand, but I tended to end up hanging out with some of the older students. That's why I was at the party in the first place. Michael Macaulay, a good friend of mine, had just been accepted to do a master's degree in earth sciences, so we decided a celebration was in order.
Okay.
Well, maybe party isn't quite the right word. We just kind of invaded the Almanac down on the Royal Mile and drank
Nice.
long enough and loud enough that eventually we had the back area to ourselves.
Smart.
Now, I don't know how well you know the drinking holes of Edinburgh, but the Almanac has a wide selection of some excellent single malts, and I may have slightly overindulged. I have vague memories of Mike suggesting I slow down, to which I responded by roundly swearing at him for failing to properly celebrate his own good news, or words to that effect. Long story short, I was violently ill around midnight and made the
I'll go back
decision
and
to
save.
walk the route home. It wasn't far to my flat, maybe half an hour if I'd been sober.
Okay.
And the night was cool enough that I remember having a hope that the chill would perk me up some. I headed for the Cowgate, and the quickest way to get there from the Royal Mile is down Old Fish Market Close. Now, I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that there are some steep hills in Edinburgh, but Old Fish Market Close is exceptional even by those standards. At times it must reach a 30 or 40 degree angle, which is hard enough to navigate when you don't have that much scotch inside you. As I have mentioned, I had quite a lot, so it probably wasn't that surprising when I took a rather nasty tumble about halfway down the street. In retrospect, the fall wasn't that bad compared to what it could have been, but at the time it really shook me up and left me with some nasty bruises.
Okay.
I picked myself up as best I could, checked I hadn't seriously injured myself, no broken bones or anything, and decided to roll a cigarette to calm myself. That was when I heard it. Can I have a cigarette? I was startled out of my thoughts by the words, as I thought I had been alone. Quickly trying to compose myself and looking around, I noticed a small alleyway on the opposite side of the street. It was very narrow and completely unlit, with a short staircase leading up. I could see a light fixture a little way up the wall at its entrance, but it either wasn't working or wasn't turned on,
Okay.
meaning that beyond a few steps the alley was shrouded in total darkness.
Nice.
Stood there, a couple of stairs from the street, was a figure. It was hard to tell much about them as they were mostly in the shadows,
Okay.
though if I'd had to guess I would have said the voice sounded male. They seemed to sway ever so slightly as I watched, and I assumed that they, like me, were probably a little bit drunk.
Oh.
I lit my own cigarette and held out my tobacco towards them, though I didn't approach, and asked if they were okay with a roll-up. The figure didn't move, except to continue that gentle swaying. Writing it down now, it seems so obvious that something was wrong. If I hadn't been so drunk, maybe I'd have noticed quicker, but even when the stranger asked the question again, "Can I have a cigarette?" utterly without intonation, still I didn't understand why I was so uneasy. I stared at the stranger, and as my eyes began to adjust, I could make out more details.
Oh?
I could see that their face appeared blank, expressionless, and their skin seemed damp and slightly sunken, like they had a bad fever.
Oh?
The swaying was more pronounced now, seeming to move from the waist side to side, back and forth.
Okay.
By this point I had finished rolling a second cigarette and gingerly held it out towards them, but I didn't get any closer. I decided that if this weirdo wanted a cigarette, they were going to need to come out of the creepy alleyway.
Yeah.
They didn't come closer, didn't make any movement at all.
So go, man.
Damn swaying. For some reason, the thought of an anglerfish popped into my head.
Why?
The single point of light dangled into the darkness,
Right.
hiding the thing that lures you in. Can I have a cigarette?
No.
It spoke again in the same flat voice, and I realized exactly what was wrong. Its mouth was closed, had been the whole time. Whatever was repeating that question, it wasn't the figure in the alleyway.
Oh, no.
I looked at their feet and saw that they weren't quite touching the ground.
What?
The stranger's form was being lifted ever so slightly and moved gently from side to side.
Aye.
I dropped the cigarette and grabbed for my phone, trying to turn on the torch.
Why?
I don't know why I didn't run or...
Literally, fucking get out of there.
I wanted to get a better look.
Why?
As soon as I took out my phone, the figure disappeared. It sort of folded at the waist and vanished back into the darkness, as if a string had gone taut and pulled it back. I turned on the torch and stared into the alley, but I saw nothing. Just silence and darkness. I staggered back up to the Royal Mile, which still had lights and people, and found a taxi to take me home. I slept late the next day.
Oh, he's okay.
I'd made sure I didn't have any lectures or classes, as I had intended to be sleeping off a heavy night of drinking, which
Right.
I guess I was.
Well, Laurel, I'm gonna be
although
honest.
it was
I'm
that
not that big of an
bizarre encounter
Undertale
that
fan
kept
that I'm
playing
like
in my
gonna be
mind.
like, because I know that the music
And
is gonna
so,
get like
after making my way
lower
through 2
dollar or
liters of
whatever,
water,
but
some painkillers, and a
you know.
very greasy breakfast, I felt human enough to leave my flat and go to investigate the place in daylight. The result was unenlightening. There were no marks, no blood stains, nothing to indicate that the swaying figure had ever been there at all.
Yo.
The only thing I did find was an unsmoked Marlboro Red cigarette, lying just below the burned-out light fixture. Beyond that, I didn't really know what to do. I did as much research as I could on the place, but couldn't find anyone who'd had any experience similar to mine, and there didn't seem to be any folklore or urban legends I could find out about Old Fish Market Close.
Okay.
The few friends I'd told about what happened just assumed I'd been accosted by some stranger, and the alcohol had made it seem much weirder than it was. I tried to explain that I'd
Take care,
never
Chris.
had hallucinations while drunk, and that there was no way this guy had just been a normal person. But they always gave me one of those looks, halfway between pity and concern,
The hell?
and I'd shut up. I never did find out anything else about it. But a few days later, I saw some missing person appeals go up around campus. Another student had disappeared. John Fellows, his name was, though
Oh.
I didn't really know the guy and couldn't tell you much about him, except for two things that struck me as very important. He'd been at that same party and, as far as I remembered, had still been there when I left.
Oh.
The
But nobody
other was
came.
just that, well, on the photo they'd used for his missing persons appeal, I couldn't help but notice that there was a pack of Marlboro Red cigarettes poking out of his pocket. I haven't quit smoking, but I do find that I take a lot more taxis now
Yeah.
if I find myself out too late.
Nightmare.
Statement ends.
Okay.
The investigation at the
Hang on. So we're gonna listen to the audio, see what happens. Nobody came. Nobody came. This is the music from the intro. This is just a fifth piano. Oh? Yeah, I know. So I've killed everything now. Yay! This tutorial, for no reason particular, which do you prefer? Let's do the cinnamon. Did you notice what the save point? No, I did not. Okay, there's a save point coming up, so we'll be able to check that out. Oh, I almost got it. Holy shit. That's bullshit. It just said determination. Okay. There we go. Nobody came. Okay, so is it just this? Bomb, bomb, back and forth. Go. No, not that way, you stupid. Yep, and then he's gonna gadunk. Did we just give me an uneasy feeling? Yeah. Here it is. Determination. Yay. Okay. Cool.
The time and the follow-up we've done over the last couple of days have found no evidence to corroborate Mr. Watt's account of his experience. I was initially inclined to refile this statement in the discredited section of the archive,
This is
a new
fucking
category I've
nightmare.
created that will, I suspect, be housing the majority of these files. However, Sasha did some digging into the police reports of the time, and it turns
He
out that
disappeared?
in 2005 and 2010,
Haha, he didn't want the
Mr.
smoke.
Watt's encounter supposedly took place. There were 6 disappearances in and around the old fish market close.
Nightmare.
Jessica McEwen in November 2005, Sarah Baldwin in August 2006, Daniel Rawlings in December of the same year, then Ashley Dobson and Megan Shaw in May and June of 2008. Then finally, as Mr. Watts mentioned, John Fellows in March 2010. All 6 disappearances remain unsolved. Baldwin and Shaw were definitely smokers, but there's no evidence either way about the others.
That makes sense.
If they're even connected.
They probably are.
Sasha did find one other thing.
Oh?
Specifically in the case of Ashley Dobson. It was a copy of the last photograph taken by her phone and sent to her.
No, I don't want to
sister
support
Siobhan.
that fuck-ass bake sale. I'm good.
The caption was, "Check out this drunk creeper, LOL." But the picture is of a darkened, apparently empty alleyway, with stairs leading up into it. It appears to be the same alleyway which Mr. Watts described in his statement, the one that, according to maps of the area, leads to Tron Square. But there doesn't seem to be anyone in the photograph at all. Sasha took the liberty of running it through some editing programs, though.
Okay.
Increasing the contrast appears to reveal the outline of a long, thin hand, roughly at what would be waist level on a male of average height.
Ew.
I find it oddly hard to shake off the impression that it's beckoning. End recording.
Okay. Well, that was creepy. I mean, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Like, that wasn't that scary.
The Magnus Archives is a podcast distributed by rustyquill.com and licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike International License.
Oops.
Today's episode was written and performed by Jonathan Sims. It was produced and directed by Alexander J. Newell.
Nice.
To comment on episodes, make donations and view links, images, videos, and show notes, visit rustyquill.com. Rate and review us on iTunes, visit us on Facebook, tweet us on Twitter at The Rusty Quill, or email us at mail@rustyquill.com.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
You're welcome. God, leave me. Why do I keep getting... Jesus, this violin is loud. Why do I keep getting combat shit if it's just not gonna... Like, there's nothing there. This is pissing me the fuck off. To remind you that no one's there? Okay.
Rusty Quill presents The Magnus Archives. Episode 2. Do not open.
Do not open. Hi.
Statement of Joshua Gillespie regarding his time in possession
Hi,
of an
Toriel.
apparently empty wooden casket. Original statement given November 22nd, 1998. Audio recording by Jonathan Sims, head archivist of the Magnus Institute, London. Statement begins. It started when I was in Amsterdam for a holiday with a few of my friends. Everything you're thinking right now, you're right. We were all early 20s, just graduated, and decided to spend a couple of weeks going crazy on the continent, so you can almost certainly fill in all the blanks yourself.
I'm gonna kill her.
There were very few points where I'd say that I was entirely sober, and even
Guys, chill with the
fewer
backseat
where I
gaming.
acted like it, though I wasn't quite as bad as some of my friends who had a hard time handling themselves at times. This may have been why I headed out alone that morning. No idea of the exact date, but it was sometime in mid-May. The others were sleeping off their assorted
We know this
hangovers, and
flower
I
already.
decided to head out into the beautiful sunshine of that Netherlands morning and take a walk.
It's me,
Before
Hades.
graduating from Cardiff with the others, I'd been studying
Eek.
architecture, so was
Wait,
looking
what?
forward to spending a few hours by myself to
Interesting.
wander and really take in the buildings of central Amsterdam.
Bum,
I was not disappointed.
bum.
It's a beautiful city.
Yeah, I know. It's
But
the, yeah, I got
realized
that.
too late that I hadn't taken
Interesting.
any map or guidebook with me.
Let's
And
go
an
to
hour
Dr.
or two
Toriel.
later, I was thoroughly lost. I wasn't particularly worried, as it was still mid-afternoon at this point.
Okay,
Getting lost
I'm
in-
gonna pause the Magnus Archives just because we're not in a grinding spot right now. And she is a teacher. When can I go home? How do I exit the ruins? Oh, I don't. And then she goes, and then it's time. Dun, dun, dun. That's just what I named the human, yeah. Dun. Okay, well, let's go kill Toriel before we change our minds. Uh-huh. No one will be able to leave again. That would be a good shot and go upstairs. No. Asgore ain't gonna kill me, bro. I'm gonna kill Asgore. Yeah. Let's kill Toriel. No! There's supposed to be a fight! No! Her soul. Oh, that's... Whew. That was nuts. Okay, I've already cried all I could from the first one. Okay. Sans. Count your days. You sneezed on her, she died, bro. Yeah, I don't know. And now she's happy and healthy in Deltarune instead. Yay! Yay! Woohoo! Chat is so happy. Hi, Flowey. You're not really human, are you? What the fuck do you mean? You're empty inside, just the main fact. You're Hades, right? I sure am. We're still separate after all these years. Listen, I have a plan to become all-powerful, even more powerful than you and your stolen soul. Oh, right. Let's destroy everything in this wretched world. Everyone, everything in these worthless memories. Gotcha. Let's turn them all to dust. Okay, so Flowey's on our team this time. Yay! So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use his help, and then I'm going to kill him. Oh, yeah. Hello, Toby Fox. You have a cool name. Ronald McDonald? What would happen if you just stepped on flowers? I will do that later. Oh, it's still this music, so I guess we're still in the ruins. Sans. Yeah. Sans. Sans. Taking so fucking long. Human. Don't you know how to greet the world with open arms? I'm gonna have to kill you on this one. I'm sorry, Sans. Haha, it's so funny. I can't move. What? My favorite song from the Undyne soundtrack is Asgore. Guess that's settled. What? All right. I'll be straightforward with you. My brother really likes to see human, so y'all really help me out if you kept pretending to be one. He knows. 16 left. Huh? Weird looking monster. Call me. Here's my number. Here's sign up. I want to call. Man. So are there monsters here? Yeah. Okay, so we're back in a grinding spot, it seems. Should I do the sands? Here, chat, I'm asking you to help me. Should I do the papyrus sands thing before I do this? Or should I just grind now? You want to make one fish a day? Well, yeah. You have plenty of time to grind? Okay. Free weapon and chest. Da, 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 blap, dap. But the tough glove is shit, right? What's my best weapon here? The knife or the glove? Let's try the tough glove, I guess. I'll need this fuck-ass stick. Alright, I'm gonna try it out before we continue, just real quick. I'm here. You don't have any hair. And then they spin. Such a bunch of sillies. Such a bunch of sillies. That's a human. Just staring at the trees while papyrus. Yeah. You can't see me if I can't see me. By process of elimination, that's a human. Okay. For high jinx, for low jinx, dangerous puzzles. I thought that said Casper's. I was. You don't even bat an eye, huh? No, I don't care. Where's this fuck-ass dog? Oh, never mind. Let's see what it is. Oh, do I spam it, right? Like, bam, 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 right? Like that, right? Yeah. Yeah, Kiro. But right now, we're in a story moment. Okay, I think we're gonna grind here. We're gonna put it back on.
The back streets had kind of been what I was trying to do, but I still decided I'd better make an actual effort to find my way back to where my friends and I were staying off Ellenstraat. I managed it eventually, but my inability to speak Dutch meant I spent a good hour riding the wrong way on the various trams. By the time I got back to Ellenstraat, it was starting to get dark. I was feeling quite stressed, so I decided to pop into one of the cafes to relax before joining up with my friends. I couldn't say for sure exactly how long I was in there, but I do know it had gotten fully dark by the time I noticed I wasn't sat at my table alone. I've tried to describe the man who now sat opposite me many times, but it's difficult.
Okay.
He was short, very short, and felt like he had an odd density to him.
What?
His
Density.
hair was brownish, I think, cut quite short, and he was clean-shaven. His face and dress were utterly unremarkable, and the more I try to think of exactly what he looked like, the harder it is to picture him clearly. To be honest, though, I'm inclined to blame that on the drugs. The man introduced himself as John, and asked how I was. I replied as best I could, and he nodded, saying he was also an Englishman inside a foreign land.
Oh.
I remember he used that exact phrase because it struck me at the time as very odd. He said he was from Liverpool, though I don't recall him having any sort of
Fucking
accent.
Liverpool,
He was
Merseyside
looking
derby.
for a friend who he could rely on for a favour.
The hell?
Now, high as I was, I got suspicious as soon as he said that last
Literally.
part, and I started to shake my head. John said it was nothing too onerous, just looking after a package for him until he had some friends pick it up, and that he would pay well. I thought he was talking about smuggling and was about to refuse again when he reached into his jacket, I think, and pulled out an envelope. Inside was £10,000.
Did I just walk?
I know, I counted it. I knew it was a...
I didn't touch
stupid
anything.
move, but I kept remembering my friend Richard telling me how easy it had been to get a pound of hash from
Culture shock.
customs on his first trip to Holland, and holding that much cash in my hands.
I'm not touching anything.
I said yes. John smiled, thanked me, and said that he would be in touch. He left the coffee shop, and I immediately started panicking about what I had agreed to. I wanted to chase after him and return the money, but something weighed me down, kept me locked into my seat. I just sat there for a long time. I don't remember much about the next few days except worrying about when I'd see John again. I was careful not to spend any of the money he'd given me, and had decided to return it as soon as he turned up. I'd say I had made a mistake and couldn't take his money, or look after anything from him. I tried to enjoy myself, but it was like this shadow hanging over me, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I waited for days, right up until the end of our trip, but he never showed up. I obsessively checked my suitcase before boarding the plane home, just in case someone had snuck something into it, but there was nothing new in there. I flew back to England with my friends still high.
Wait, it's the same.
£10,000 tucked into my coat pocket. It was surreal. It wasn't until almost a year later that I felt confident enough to actually spend any of the money. I'd moved down to work for a small architect's firm in Bournemouth on the south
Fuck
coast.
ice cream guy.
It was an entry-level job and the pay wasn't great, but
Alpha
it was the only offer I got in my chosen field, so I moved down there with the hopes of getting some experience and a better position in a year or two. Bournemouth was a decent-sized seaside town, though much less idyllic than I'd assumed it would have been. But rents for a place of my own were a little bit out of my price range, given my starting pay grade. I didn't know anyone else down there and wasn't keen to share my space with strangers, so I decided to use some of the money I'd been given in Amsterdam the previous year.
Smart.
I reasoned they were unlikely to find me at this stage. I'd not
I
given
just
John
heard
any of
Flowey
my
laugh.
details when he spoke to me, not even my name. And if they hadn't been able to find me over the course of the last year, it was doubtful they'd be able to track me here. Also, if it had been drug smuggling, as
Yeah,
I
Flowey's
suspected,
laughing.
£10,000 probably wasn't so much money to them that they'd track me this far over it. Also, and looking back this sounds stupid, but I'd just grown a beard and thought it would be hard for anyone to recognize me as the same guy, so I spent a bit of John's money on renting a nice one-bedroom flat in the Triangle near the town centre and moved in almost immediately. About a week later, I was in my kitchen cutting up some fruit for breakfast when I heard the doorbell ring. I answered it to see two red-faced delivery men. Between them, they carried an immense package, which they'd clearly had to maneuver up the narrow stairs of the building I lived in. They asked if I was Joshua Gillespie, and when I said yes, they said they had a delivery addressed to me and pushed past into the hall. They didn't seem to be from any delivery company I knew, and they weren't wearing any uniforms. I tried to ask them some questions, but as soon as they'd placed the box on the floor, they turned around and walked out. They were both well over 6 feet tall and very imposing, so there was little I could have done to stop them leaving, even if I'd wanted to. The door slammed behind them.
I thought this was supposed to...
I was left alone with this package. It was about 2 meters long, maybe 1 meter wide and roughly the same deep. It was sealed with parcel tape, and written on the top was my name and address in thick, curving letters. But there was no return address or postmark of any sort. I was starting to risk being late for work at this point, but I decided I couldn't bring myself to leave without seeing what was inside, so I fetched the knife from my kitchen counter and cut the tape, keeping the box closed. Inside was a coffin.
Undyne.
I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't that. My knife fell to the floor and I just stared at it in mute surprise. It was made of unvarnished pale yellow wood and had a thick metal chain wrapped around it, which was closed at the top with a heavy iron padlock. The lock was closed, but had the key sitting inside it. I started to reach for it when I noticed two other things on the coffin lid. The first was a piece of paper folded in half and tucked under the chain, which I took. The other was the presence of 3 words scratched deep into the wood of the casket in letters 3 inches high. They read, "Do not open."
Okay.
I withdrew my hand from the padlock slowly, unsure what I was supposed to do. At some point I must have sat down, as I found myself on the floor propped up against the wall, staring at this bizarre thing that
What's
had
in the coffin?
turned up at my home. I remembered the piece of paper at this point and unfolded it, but it simply read, "Delivered with gratitude,
Delivered with
J."
gratitude.
Strange as it sounds, it was only then I made the connection with the man I'd met in Amsterdam. He'd told me he wanted someone to look after a package for a while.
Okay.
Was this the package he was talking about? Was
That's
I to be looking
sorry.
after a corpse? Who was coming to pick it up? When? I called in sick to work and just sat there, watching the coffin for what might have been minutes or might have been hours. I just had no idea what to do. Eventually I steeled myself and moved towards it, until my face was just inches away from the lid.
Is he not going to
I
open?
took a deep breath, trying to see if I could smell anything from inside. Nothing. If there was a dead body in there, it hadn't started to smell yet. Not that I really knew what a dead body smelled like.
Probably
it was
not
early
great.
summer at this point, which would mean that they must have died recently, if there was a body in there at all. As I got up, my hand brushed the wood of the coffin, and I realized it was warm.
Ew.
Very
warm?
Like it had been lying in the sun for hours. Something about it made my flesh crawl slightly, and I withdrew my hand quickly. I decided to make a cup of tea. It was something of a relief standing next to the kettle, as from that angle I couldn't see the thing out in the hall. I could just ignore it. I didn't move even after I'd filled my mug. I just stood there, sipping my tea, not even noticing it was still far too hot to drink comfortably. When I finally got the nerve to step back out into the hall, the coffin still lay there, unmoving. I finally made a decision and, firmly gripping the padlock, I removed the key
Oh.
and placed it on the hall table next to the door. I then took hold of the coffin and chain and started to pull it further into my flat. It was weird to touch it. The wood still had that unsettling warmth to it, but the chain was as cold as you'd expect from a thick piece of iron, and apparently hadn't taken on any of the heat. I didn't have any cupboards with enough space to hold the thing, so in the end I just dragged it into my living room and pushed it up against the wall as out of the way as possible. I cut up the cardboard box it had been sealed in and put it with the rubbish outside. And just like that I had, apparently, started storing a coffin in my home.
You're gonna have a bad time? What? What the fuck?
At the
Okay,
time
time to
I
grind.
assumed it was full of drugs. At least as far as I assumed anything about the situation. Why anyone would store something in such a noticeable way, or with a total stranger like me, these weren't questions I could even guess at an answer to. But I decided it was best to think about it as little as possible. For the next few days I avoided my living room, as I found being so close to the thing made me nervous. I was also staying alert for the smell of any sort of rot, which might indicate there was something dead inside the coffin after all. I never smelled anything, though, and as the days passed, I found myself noticing my mysterious charge less and less. About a week after it arrived, I finally started using my living room again. I'd watch TV mostly and keep half an eye on the unmoving casket. At one point, I got so cocky as to actually use it as a table. I was drinking a glass of orange juice at the
I'm not
time
meeting
and
anything.
absent-mindedly placed it on top of the lid, not really realizing exactly what I had done. At least, not until I heard movement from underneath it. I froze, listening intently and staring, willing myself to have been imagining things. But then it came again.
Finally.
A soft but insistent scratching, just below where I had placed my glass.
Yeah.
It was slow and deliberate, and caused gentle ripples to spread across the surface of my juice. Needless to say, I was terrified. More than that, I was confused. The coffin had been lying in my living room, chained and unmoving, for well over a week at this point. If there had been anything living in there when it was delivered, it seemed unlikely it would still be alive. And why hadn't it made
no
any sound
damage
before if there was something in there capable of movement? I gently picked up my glass and immediately the scratching stopped. I waited for some time, considering my options, before I placed it back down on the other end of the lid. It took about 4 seconds.
Why is this so hard? What the fuck?
Now more insistently. When I took the glass away this time, it didn't stop for another 5 minutes. I decided against doing any further experiments, and instead made the very deliberate decision to ignore it. I felt at that point I either needed to use the heavy iron key to open it and see for myself what was in there, or follow the gouged instruction and resolve myself to never look inside. Some might call me a coward, but I decided on the latter, that I would interact with it as little as possible while it lived in my house.
Isn't there healing in here?
Well, I guess lived may be the wrong term. I knew I'd made the right decision the next time it rained, and I heard the box begin to moan.
What?
It was a Saturday, and I was spending the day staying in and doing some light reading. I had few friends in Bournemouth. Something about having a mysterious coffin lying in my living room made me reluctant to make the sort of connections that might lead to people coming round, and so I spent most of my free time alone. I didn't watch a lot of television even before my living room was taken over with storing this thing, and so I now found myself sat in my room reading quite a lot.
Did I fuck it up?
I remember I just started Michael Crichton's The
Am I
Lost
cooked?
World at the time, and it started
I thought I could, like, check it.
It was a hard,
Did I fuck it up? Do I have to start over?
It falls straight down with no wind to disturb it until everything is dark and wet.
I saved right before.
Day, but I remember the sky was so overcast and gloomy.
You just have to kill more?
I had to get up to turn on the light.
So I can continue.
And that was when I heard it. It was a low, gentle sound.
Cool.
I've seen Dawn of the Dead. I know what the groans of the undead are meant to sound like, but it wasn't that at all.
Thank you, Sasha.
It was almost melodious.
This is a really boring episode of the Magnus Archives. I'm
Sounded
really
almost
sorry.
like singing.
The first
It
one was
muffled
great. This
by
one is just
20
not
feet
capturing
of
me at all.
hard-packed soil. At first, I thought it might have been coming from one of the other flats in my building, but as it went on and the hairs on my arm began to stand on end, I just knew where it was coming from. I walked to the living room and stood in the doorway, watching as the sealed wooden box continued to moan its soft, musical sound out of the rain. There was nothing to be done. I'd made my decision not to open it, and this certainly did not make me want to reconsider that. So I just went back to my bedroom, put on some music, and turned it up loud enough to drown out the sounds. And so it continued for a few months. Whatever was in the casket would scratch at anything placed on top of it and moan whenever it rained, and that was that. I suppose it goes to show that you can
Doesn't
get
matter
used to
if I just do
anything if
this.
you have to,
Yeah, it does.
no matter how bizarre. I occasionally considered trying to get rid of it or finding people like you guys to investigate, but in the end I decided that I was actually more afraid of whoever was responsible for entrusting me with the coffin than I was of the actual coffin itself. So I kept it secret. The only thing that worried me was sleeping. I think it gave me bad dreams. I don't remember my dreams, never have, and if I was getting nightmares, they were no different. I didn't remember them, and I certainly don't now.
Okay.
But I know I kept waking up in a panic, clutching at my throat and struggling to breathe.
There isn't much to pay attention to, Watson.
I also started sleepwalking.
That's how I do it. I'm just killing shit.
The first time that happened, it was the cold that woke me up. It was the middle of winter, and I tend not to keep the heating on when I'm asleep.
Uh-huh.
It took me a few seconds to fully process where I was. I was standing in the dark in my living room, over the coffin. What concerned me more about the situation was the fact that when I awoke, I seemed to be holding the key to it in my hand. Obviously, this worried me. I even went to my GP about it, who referred me to the sleep clinic at the nearby hospital, but the problems never recurred in a clinical setting. I decided to hide the key in more and more difficult to access places, but still I kept waking up with it.
The fuck?
I was starting to panic. When I awoke one morning to find I'd actually placed the key within the lock and was, as far as I could tell, moments from opening it. I knew I had to find a solution.
Just get rid of the box.
In the end, what I took to doing was perhaps a bit elaborate, but it seemed to work. I would place the key within a bowl of water and then put it in the freezer, encasing it in a solid block of ice. I still sometimes found myself trying to get to the key in my sleep, but the chill of the ice always woke me up long before I could do anything with it. And in the end, it just became yet another part of my routine. I lived like that for almost a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
It's funny how fear can just become as routine as hunger. At a certain point, I just accepted it. My first clue that my time keeping the coffin was coming to an end was when it began to rain and there was silence. I didn't notice at first, as my habit at that point had been to put on the music as soon as the weather began to turn. But after a few minutes, I realized that there wasn't anything to drown out. I turned off my music and went to check. The living room was silent. Then came a knock at the door. The sound was light and unobtrusive, but it rang out like thunder in the quiet flat. I knew what I'd see as soon as I opened the door, and I was right. John and the two delivery men stood there.
Oh.
I wasn't surprised to see them, as I say, but they actually seemed quite surprised to see me.
Huh.
John had to take a second to look me up and down, almost in disbelief, as I asked if they'd come to collect their coffin. He said that they had, and he hoped it hadn't been too much trouble. I told him where he could stick it, and he didn't seem to have an answer for that. He did seem genuinely impressed, however, when I got the key out of the freezer. I didn't even try to thaw it. I was so eager to have this thing out of my life that I just dropped the bowl of ice on the floor and shattered it. I watched as John picked the icy key off the floor, and I told them it was in the living room. I didn't follow them. I didn't want to see what they did with the coffin.
Smart.
I didn't want to see if they opened it.
Smart.
And when the screaming started, I didn't want to see who was screaming
The
or
hell?
why. I only left the kitchen when the 2 delivery men carried the coffin past the door.
What?
I followed them down the stairs and watched in the pouring rain as they locked it into a small van marked Beacon and Hope Deliveries. Then they drove away. There was no sign of John. That was the last I heard of it. I got a new job and moved to London shortly afterwards. And now I just try not to think about it too much. Statement ends.
That's it? That fucking made no sense!
My hometown is not entirely devoid of odd occurrences and eerie stories. Ice cream, beaches, and boredom are all very well, but I'm glad to hear Bournemouth has at least a few apparitions to call its own. That said,
their
the
football
fact
team is an
Mr. Gillespie's
apparition.
statement starts
Whatever.
with drug use and continues on with the lack of corroborating witnesses being a central theme, which means that an eerie story is all that it is. When the Institute first investigated, it doesn't look like they were able to find a single piece of evidence to support the existence of this scratched coffin. And to be honest, I didn't think it was worth wasting anyone's time over now, nearly 20 years later. That said, I did mention it to Tim yesterday, and apparently he did some digging of his own.
You digging
Beacon
in
and
me.
Hope did in fact exist and were a courier service that operated until 2009 when they went into liquidation. They were based in Nottingham, however, significantly north of Bournemouth, and if they kept records of their deliveries, they are no longer available. What is interesting, however, is the address Mr. Gillespie provided for the flat this all took place in. The housing association that ran it does keep extensive records on the tenants that have lived in their buildings going back some 40 or 50 years.
Makes sense.
From what Tim could find, it appears that for the 2 years of his residence, Mr. Gillespie was the only person living in that entire building, with the other 7 flats being utterly vacant. Nobody moved in following his departure, and the building was sold to a developer and demolished shortly after this statement was originally given. Predictably, no one who worked for that housing association in the 90s is still there, and despite Tim's best efforts, we could get no explanation for why, in a building of that size, Mr. Gillespie spent almost 2 years living alone, save for an old wooden coffin.
Oh.
Recording ends.
Bum, bum, bum. Okay, well, cool. I didn't like that one very much, but that's okay. 1 for 2 is great so far.
The Magnus Archives is a podcast distributed by RustyQuill.
This one's called Across the Street.
RustyQuill presents The Magnus Archives.
Such an unconventional, like, voice actor for this, you know? He sounds like Smulio, but if Smulio
Episode
had
3.
depression.
Across the Street.
Smulio sounds British. He does. Go. This is so loud, bro. Jesus. Go listen to the if you go listen to like the Or video where we interview him for his puppeteer animatic, you'll hear it.
Statement of Amy Patel regarding the alleged disappearance of her acquaintance, Graham Falk.
What the fuck? Yeah, in a sec, Jay, sorry. Wait, I can take them? Oh, I don't have any... Oh, I need to put shit in the box. Hang on. Dude, this route is awesome. I don't need the toy knife. The snowman piece can fuck off too. Yeah, I know. Cha-ching. Can I throw away this? Yeah, whatever. I'll keep, yeah. I'll keep that for late game. Monster Kid, you're alive? Everyone ran away and hid somewhere. Oh, they're afraid of me. Not for long. Hey, Grill Bees. Still got the Sans theme. You're not made of fire. That's funny. Can I drink? No. My Discord friends are texting me because it says on Discord, Cass, streaming Genocide. Can we break into Papyrus's house? Everyone's just gone. That's so eerie. You can grab more snowman pieces, but he's so far away now. I don't want to go all the way back. Fuck that. Is he still throwing? No one's cooling down the core. Hello? Can I speak to G? Wait a second. Did I get the wrong number song 3 out of 3? Oh, it's the wrong number. It's the wrong number song. We're very sorry that we got it wrong. Oh, it's the wrong number. The wrong number song. We're very, very sorry that we got it wrong. Yay. Yes, I did, Lorelai. When I entered the shop, it said, but nobody came. All right, guys, it's time for my favorite activity, killing Papyrus. Why does that person look like me? So I told you guys, oh, Nova isn't here. Oh, I told Nova's Papyrus. I'm not moving. You're a freaking weirdo. Fuck you, man. In dusty powder. Person that's right. No, I'm sorry. I'm not moving at all. No. I'm not doing anything. Oh, I feel bad. He welcomes me with open arms. I don't even get to fight him? was not satisfying at all. I thought the bosses were supposed to be hard. Not this. I just annihilated them. Yes, I do. I want him to put up a fight. Lorelai, chat. I'm so lonely. All the other genocide runners, they say I'm unstable. All because I love feeling Papyrus's head crushing in my palm. What's up, monster? Can I kill Monster Kid? Okay, determination. 18 left. So how does the waterfall sound like? There's nothing. Should I start grinding before Undyne, chat? Help. Help. Waiter. I don't think you can. Oh, okay. There she is. Okay. Peak. No Papyrus report. Yeah, it was just like my first one. And she just disappears. Undyne the goat. Wrong. That's Duvet Box. Did you see when she was staring at you? That was awesome. So jealous. Yeah. Dumbass kid. Run. But they're already made up for me? Flowey! Flowey is helping me! That's why there are no puzzles! Flowey is helping me! That's what the beginning was for! Asriel, you silly. It's just combat. I love that. Oh, that's so awesome. Hey, Woshua didn't deserve that. Who? I think I can grind now. Should I? Are you guys gonna tell me the ideal room to grind? I don't really care about that one. So if you guys could tell me that, that'd be great. Not in this room. Well, that's, yeah, obviously. Monster Kid's gonna help me. So silly. Casper doing his impression of a Pokemon. So true. Okay, let's see if we can find some determination. Yay. It's strangely silent. Is this where Gerson is? I prefer to do it later so I can passively kill doing the run, not have a ton of it. Yeah, that's fair. Not stream guys, no, yeah. This is fuck ass bird that I love. God, this is so creepy. No, Birdly is that fucking bird that I hate. Where can I find that, Lorelei? Birdly's Alex, so true. You mean Alex Harper? Wasn't that a fucking hilarious photo? Okay, where's the octopus? Has he played Deltarune? No. But I know Alex Harper looks like it. You need to look around the area. Okay, well, I can't be asked to do that. That's okay, I'm good. Well, if I can just steal anything, then that's not gonna fucking matter, is it? You can't hold an umbrella either, it's so stupid. My name is Cleveland Brown, and I am proud. Hi Molly, how you holding up? I don't care. He doesn't have arms? No, he doesn't. Oh, they don't. They don't. Monster crits they them, apparently. Look at the castle. Wow. King of the castle. King of the castle. Beautiful wall truth tastes so true. My name is Cleveland Brown, and I am proud to be. So where's Undyne? There we go. Shit. Yeah, I'll do it. There's a save right before Undyne, right? It's changed? Okay. Be careful. Okay. I'm falling down to the dump. I'll do it down the dump. I think that's better. Because I know there's a save point here, right? Meow, meow. Asriel. Thank you. My name is Asriel. Can you do the dump? Yeah, why not? Let's Cleveland. Hey, my name is Cleveland Brown. I just need to find the save point, and then we'll start grinding. Here it is. Can I just do it here? My name is Cleveland Brown. Well, I don't know if you can't do it in the dump. Can you, chat? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it. Internet icon Mel. Can someone Google for me? Okay, chat. Question. If I go beyond here, am I gonna be okay? Because I need, obviously, I care less about spoilers than I do if I have to fucking reset. Okay, good. This fuck-ass doll. Angry. Oh. Oh no. Okay. Flowey? Oh. Yay. That's so fucked up. Yeah, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Can I grind here? Guess we'll find out. You fucking smile and laugh, you sick bastard. Yeah, because it's funny. We can have some fun here on this Geno route. Okay, let's put on the Magnus Archives then.
Original statement given July 1st, 2007.
I was 7 when that
Audio
came out.
recording by Jonathan Sims, head archivist of the Magnus Institute, London.
Who the fuck is Magnus?
Statement begins. I first met Graham 2 years ago, more or less. It's hard to say exactly when we first met or even started talking, as we were taking a class together at the time. I'm sure there was plenty of discussion or interaction before we learned each other's names,
Right, Lunar.
but I started my course in September of 2005, so yeah, about 2 years. I decided to take a criminology course at Birkbeck University as a way of getting out of the rut with my office job. I'm an associate compliance analyst at Deloitte, and if you think that sounds boring, well, yeah, it is. I knew a night course in criminology wasn't going to go anywhere, of course, even if I'd finished it. I just had to do something to find a bit of interest in my life. And it was either that or become an alcoholic, so... Sorry, I'm
pick
going
an
off
alcoholic.
topic. I initially found Graham a bit off-putting, to be honest. He was a chain smoker and wore far too much deodorant to try and cover the smell. He was a bit older than me, maybe 10 years or so. I never asked his age. I mean, we weren't that close, but he was starting to grey at the edges of his hair, and you could see that the tiredness on his face wasn't just from missing a single night's sleep. That's not to say he was bad-looking. He had a round, open sort of face, and quite deep blue eyes, but very much not my type. He was well-spoken in group work, at least when he did speak. And I think it came up once that he'd been to Oxford, though I don't know what college. I'd noticed earlier that during lectures, he always seemed to be scribbling furiously in a notebook, even when the lecturer wasn't speaking. At first, I just thought he was thorough, but I swear I watched him fill a whole A5 notebook in one lecture. I remember it was a talk on the justice system where the speaker was so slow.
He's still here!
He wouldn't have filled that book even if Graham had been writing down literally every word. Not to mention, I asked to borrow his notes once for an essay, and he gave me this weird look and said he didn't take any notes.
What?
So yeah, point is, I wouldn't have called him a friend, but we got on all right. It was about 4 months into my course that I first encountered Graham outside of the university.
I can fight him?
I was riding the night bus home, having gone for a couple of drinks and missed the regular service. I live in Clapham, so there's a pretty regular night bus service headed there. Of course, regular also means drunk and angry vomiters. So
what?
Yeah, I generally try to be unobtrusive, sitting in a seat at the back of the floor. It was there that I saw Graham. He was sat right at the front, staring out of the window. People watching is one of my guilty pleasures, so I decided not to say hello. At least, not right away. I wasn't disappointed either. He was stranger alone than he had ever been during class. It was the middle of winter at this point, so the windows were solid with condensation, but he almost obsessively wiped it away from the one in front of him the moment it started to obscure his view. He seemed to be intently scanning the street for something, except
even the fucking boat guy. Well, there's no reason for me to go back.
The buildings passing by. He seemed nervous as well, and was breathing way faster than normal, which fogged up his window even more. It was slightly alarming to watch, to be honest, and I finally made up my mind to tell him I was there. He jumped a bit when I greeted him, and I asked him if he was all right. He told me he didn't usually stay out so late, and found nighttime public transport unsettling.
Notebook? Okay.
I sat next to him, and he seemed to get much more relaxed, so I didn't push the issue. We talked for a while about nothing in particular until the bus started to approach my stop. As I rose, I noticed that Graham had stood up at the exact same time as I had, and I realized with some discomfort
Can I throw stuff away?
At the same stop. I liked the guy fine, don't get me wrong, but I still didn't really feel okay.
Yeah, okay. I'll grab some of that monster candy.
But yeah, it was obvious that
I can't.
I'd gotten up to get off the bus.
Okay, well then I guess the fucking
really ride on to the next stop.
The bandage goes, right?
It wasn't even that I felt unsafe with Graham. I'm just a
drop your weapons. I can't.
I decided to just walk back with him as far as necessary and make sure he didn't see what building I went into. Maybe we weren't even walking in the same direction. Yeah, we were walking in exactly the same direction. We even seemed to be heading to the same street. It was at that point I felt a hand grab my shoulder and throw me into the road. I don't know how else to describe it. One moment I was walking along, the next I was flying towards the ground. It can't have been Graham. He was in front of me at the time, and I would have sworn there was nobody else on the street. There weren't any cars coming, but I hit my head hard. I think I must have been unconscious for a few seconds, because the next thing I remember is a panicky Graham on the phone to an ambulance. I tried to tell him I was all right, but didn't really manage to get the words out, which, yeah, probably meant I wasn't all right. The ambulance arrived in pretty good time, considering it was London on a Friday night, and the paramedics gave me a look over. I was told that the injury itself wasn't serious. Apparently head wounds always bleed that much, and it's nothing to panic about. But that I did have quite a nasty concussion and shouldn't be left alone for the next few hours. Even though we were within sight of my door, I had for some reason settled upon the idea of Graham never knowing
Okay,
where
I'll
I
grab the
lived.
tea.
In retrospect, this was likely the concussion talking, but
Can
the upshot
I
was
just
I
throw
agreed to
away?
go
I guess
back
I'll
to
throw away
Graham's
the
flat
old
to
gear.
recover. He was quite awkward about the whole thing and took great pains to assure me that there was nothing untoward about the situation. Apparently he was gay, which I'll admit did actually reassure me a bit.
Hell yeah, we love gay
Still,
people.
it was clear this wasn't how either of us had hoped to be ending our nights.
Can I throw away the gloves?
As it turned out, Graham's flat was directly across the street from mine.
Oh
just
no,
a
across
couple
the
of
street.
floors
That's the name of
lower.
this episode.
I wondered if I could see my window from his, and I remember I had the odd thought that if I had to look out, I'd need
I'm
to
gonna
be
throw away the
careful of his
gloves.
window box, as I could see the hooks attaching it to the frame. I asked him what he grew, and he gave me a look as though my concussion had stopped me making sense again. I mean, maybe it had, because when I looked back at the window, the hooks were gone. There was no sign of any window box.
Oh
At the time, I
shit!
put it
Double
down to my
attack.
head
Cool.
wound, and even now I'm not sure. The flat itself was a simple affair, quite big by London standards.
Whoa! What
It
the
had only a
hell?
few pieces of furniture and a lot of bookshelves, each covered with rows and rows of identical notebooks, with no apparent marking system or indication of contents. I started to ask about them, but my head throbbed and I didn't feel up to any answer that might have been
Yeah, I can't be
forthcoming.
asked to go back.
Graham led me to the sofa and disappeared to fetch me an ice pack and a mug of sugary tea. I graciously accepted both, though I wasn't in much of a mood to talk. Graham clearly felt awkward enough with the silence to do the talking for both of us, and I learned more about him over the next hour than I'd ever had a desire to know. Apparently his parents had died in a car accident a few years previously and had left a great deal of money and ownership of this flat. He didn't need to work anymore, and so had found himself somewhat adrift, taking night college courses to pass the time and broaden his mind. His words, not mine.
Yeah, that's
He said he was
just
trying
like
to figure
you.
out what to actually do with his life. He talked on like this for a while, but I stopped listening about that point as I'd become enraptured by the table on which he'd placed my tea. It was an ornate wooden thing with a snaking pattern of lines weaving their way around towards the center. The pattern was hypnotic and shifted as I watched it like an optical illusion. I found my eyes following the lines towards the middle of the table, where there was nothing but a small square hole. Graham noticed me staring and told me that interesting antique furniture was one of his few true passions.
Okay.
Apparently he'd found the table in a second-hand shop during his student days and
Cool.
fallen in love with it. It had been in pretty bad shape, but he'd spent a long time and a lot of money restoring it, though he'd
Okay,
never been
nice.
able to figure out what was supposed to go in the center. He assumed it was a separate piece and couldn't track it down. And yeah, like most of his conversation, I'd have found it dull even if I wasn't concussed, but by this time I was beginning to feel well enough to leave and started to make my excuses to Graham. He expressed his concern, said it hadn't been long enough as the medics suggested,
True.
but if I had to, well, you get the picture. In the end I did leave as I kept getting lost in the lines of the table, and the pipes outside of the window made such a weird
Do I have a
noise that I
smiley
didn't think
face when I
staying
encounter
would
stuff
actually
rather
going to
than
help
the
me
exclamation
recover.
point?
I went straight home, making sure Graham couldn't see me from his window, and spent a few hours watching TV until I recovered enough to go to sleep.
Cool.
By the time I woke up the next morning, I was feeling more or less okay, though I kept a plaster on the cut on my forehead and tried not to think too much about the previous night.
Smart.
One evening, a few days later though, I found myself staring out of my window, the one that faced the street.
Enjoying your
and
lack
I
of
remembered
morals.
how close
Yeah,
Graham
it's chill.
I looked to see if I could figure out which window
Three
was
left.
his, and
Hades is very
sure
happy to
enough,
fight.
there it was.
Well, they took Persephone away
It was
from
actually
him. All these
a
fuckers
remarkably
gotta
clear view of his
suffer.
flat, and I could see him sat on the sofa, reading one of the notebooks from his
But also because
bookshelves.
I don't want to take
I
responsibility
realized
for
that
doing
if
this, so I
could see him
couldn't.
so
I don't want to
clearly,
name
he
it
could
after me.
likely see me just as well if he chose to look up, and with some remnant of my apprehension from that Friday, I decided to turn off the light in my flat, so he wouldn't see me if he looked up. And then I went back to watching him. Yeah, I know that sounds creepy. It really wasn't meant to be. I said earlier that I really enjoy people watching, and regardless of how boring he may have been to speak to, Graham was weirdly compelling to watch.
The fuck?
So that's just what I did. And not just that night either. Yeah, there's no non-sinister way to say
Exactly,
that watching
thought so.
Graham became my hobby. It was strange, I'll admit it, but I just couldn't stop myself. I reasoned it wasn't watching him with any purpose or malice in mind. It was purely out of a detached interest in his life.
My
in
Monday's
my
been pretty
defense,
good.
I
I
would have
recorded
stopped
2
him lot sooner
videos.
if it hadn't been for the
I cleaned up
bizarre
my flat a
things
little
he would do.
bit. I
He
went
would
for like a minor
constantly
grocery
reorder his
run.
journals
Then
without
I
any apparent system of
did a
organization,
bunch
which at
of
the time
story
had actually
specific
been
related
opening
stuff.
them.
Then I have
Sometimes
a
he would
songwriting
grab an
lesson
apparently
with
random
Grace,
notebook from the
who
shelves and start
you might know
scribbling
from
in it,
writing the
even
Caesar
though I could see
musical,
that
which
the
was a
page
lot of
was
fun.
already covered in writing.
And now we're streaming.
Once, and I swear this is true, I saw him take one of his notebooks and start to tear out the pages one at a time. And then, slowly and deliberately, he ate them. It must have taken him 3 hours to get through the whole book, but he didn't stop
He
or
ate a
pause.
book?
He just kept going. Even when he wasn't doing anything with the notebooks, there was an odd energy to him. From what I could see, he was constantly on edge and jumped every time any loud noise passed on the street below. A police siren, a breaking bottle. Hell, I even saw him freak out over an ice cream truck once. Each time he'd leap to his feet, run to the window and start looking out, wildly craning his neck from side to side.
Is he eating the
Sometimes he'd
book?
look up, but I'd learned his patterns well enough to avoid being spotted. Then, all at once, he'd decide that there was no problem and go back to whatever he was doing before. And by whatever he was doing before,
Hi, Mortius.
yeah, I mean nothing. He apparently didn't have a television or a computer. The only books he seemed to own were his own notebooks, and I only ever saw him eat takeaway food. I don't know how many times I watched him eat the same pizza, pepperoni with jalapeno peppers and anchovies. Yeah, I know. But the rest of the time he just sat there smoking, sometimes looking into space, sometimes staring at that wooden table of his. And yeah, I remembered the pattern was kind of hypnotic, and I spent more than a couple of minutes staring at it myself when I was there, but
Thank you, Mal.
he did almost nothing else. Who knows? Perhaps he had a rich and fulfilling life outside of the flat.
Where
He
are
certainly
you,
left behaviorally
Temmies?
enough, and yeah, I wasn't so far gone as to actually follow him. In fact, I always waited a good long while before leaving my own route to make sure I didn't bump into him.
Jay, thank you for the gifted.
To know where I lived, although now for very different reasons.
So you can't do
In the end,
anything?
though, it was a hobby, not an obsession, and often days would pass when I wouldn't see Graham at all.
Aww.
Maybe there was stuff I missed that would have explained his behavior. I just wish I'd missed what happened on April 7th. Then maybe I'd have just thought he'd moved on, or I don't know. I just wish I hadn't seen it. Work had been intense for a couple of months, with so many late nights I'd had to drop out of my course. It was just as well, really, as I hadn't actually spoken to Graham since the night I suffered my head injury. I think he still felt awkward about it, and I'd seen him do so many weird things alone in his flat that I think I'd have struggled to have a normal conversation with him. Anyway, this week, I'd barely had time to eat, let alone do much in the way of Graham watching, so when I got home at about 10:30 at night, my first thought was just to fall into bed. But it was Friday, and I'd drunk a huge amount of coffee to keep going at work, so yeah, I was wired, and looking forward to a long lie-in the next day. So when I saw Graham's light was still on, I decided to spend a relaxing few minutes checking in on him. His light may have been on, but I couldn't see him, and I wondered if perhaps he'd gone to bed and simply forgotten to turn it off.
He's gonna go to college anyway, don't worry.
More likely he was just in the bathroom, so I decided to wait a while longer. As I stared at that window, I realized there was something, I don't know, off about it. It looked different somehow, but I couldn't
There's
figure out what
Undyne.
it was.
Well, hang on. I'm gonna turn on the sound for this one. Fuck off, dude. Seven human souls. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay, well, I'll fuck you up easily. I'm kidding. Undyne is probably one of the bosses that's been, like, significantly altered, right? Oh. He's hit it. Undyne's right in front of it. Yeah, no shit. Yes, indeed. Okay, well, I'm excited to fight her. Is he silent? Yeah, because I killed everyone. La-di-doo, la-di-da. God, I'm so tired. I'm gonna let him die this time. I did. Oh! I'm not moving. In my way. Oh! Oh! Didn't I just crit her like 2,000? She's like shimmering like I killed her. So is she dead? Already what? Huh? I don't buy it. It's so slow. Huh? Yes, I will. That's the point of a genocide route. Everyone's hopes and dreams. Woohoo! It's so crazy to be on the other side of this. I'm Casper. Is her name Undyne because she's undying? Oh! There's a new theme! Alright. Let's wipe 50 times before winning this battle. Undyne the Undying! I'm logging in, chat. Oh my god! Holy shit! Ah, this is crazy! I have to attack. There's no way. Holy shit, this is gonna take forever. Ah, it's gonna be sick though. Why is Ascor cheering me on? I'm back here? There's no other place to save? Oh, nah. Are you kidding me? There is, you just didn't see it. Okay, please tell me where it is. Just say right before you missed it, okay. I'll go find it. Right before the bridge, okay. Right before it's a new save, it was okay. We're gonna do one more try. I think. And we'll see how it goes because it is pretty late. I've been up all day. Having his future version take his eyesight for real. Wow. The thing that I'm like really struggling with is like seeing the arrows. I can't tell which one is closer, you know? It's really tough. See, I was ready to fight. The best way to get through Genocide is literal muscle memory. Oh, okay. How? Okay, tell me where the save thing is. Do I go up or is there one? Okay. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Determination. There's nothing. The hell? Okay, and Mortius told me to do something with Monster Kit here, so we're gonna try that. There's determination, hell yeah. Monster Kit looks like free XP. That's fucking nuts. Do you feel determined yet, Cass? I mean, yeah. I'm happy that I did the like neutral to pacifist to this one. I'm happy I did that. Yeah. Damn it! Damn it! Oh, this is so hard. Yellow is opposite. I know, it's just my fucking... I can't tell what, like, to me, an arrow like this and an arrow like this looks the same. Is there a like, visually impaired friendly version of this? I won't. I'm gonna die here. God! You wanted a big fight? This is not a big fight. I'm dying, bro. I want to beat up Papyrus. Okay, last try. Last try. Because it's been 2 hours now. Last try. We'll try again next time. What is a big fight to you, Sans? Fuck. What? This part sounds like Ruby. Jamen for helvede. Jamen jeg kan ikke finde ud af det der pis, seriøst. Yeah, no. No way. Oh my god. Yeah, this is like the time having to time it, especially seeing which arrow is closest is so difficult. Like I just see it in the like last nick of time. So when I'm beating this with such a crazy fucking disability. Oh, hey, hello, Nova. Well, chat, we're gonna try again next time. Shit, we're gonna do last one. Trust, last one. Most down the first attack? No way. It's the arrows that fuck me up. We're gonna do broader view. So 3 up, and then come all around. Right, down, left, up, left, down, right, down, left, up. Left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left. Slow left, left, up, down, left, right, down, down, left, right, up, right, left, right, fuck, shit, fuck. Løb. Du skal ikke ramme dig selv. Lad nu være. Op, ned. Op. Venstre, ned. Venstre fri, midter fri. Venstre. Midt. Venstre, op, ned, fuck. Højre, venstre, op, ned. Op, venstre, op, højre, op, venstre, op, højre, op. Venstre, op, højre, ned. Venstre, fuck! Åh nej. Nej. Lad nu være, for helvede. Op igennem. Ja tak. Okay. Godt tænke mere. Halvt HP, kom. Op for helvede. Nej. Øj, for satan, mand. Spis. Venstre, ned, højre, op, venstre, ned, højre. Fucking lort, der er så mange pile, mand! Venstre, højre, op, venstre, højre, ned, venstre, højre, op, venstre, højre, ned. Venstre, højre, ned, op, fuck, shit. Ej, men det er for helvede. Ej, men for venstre, ned, op, venstre. Ej, det gør du ikke mod mig. Højre, aha. It turns red when it's the next one. I got you figured out now. Oh my god, I don't, please. Why does it do that? No. No. Stop nu. Stop nu for helvede, mand. Jamen, det gør jeg ikke. Det er forbi det her. Jamen, det skal jeg slet ikke være en del af, det der. Holy shit. Nah, that's crazy. That's fucking nuts. Nah, we're not done yet. I just really need to take a piss. Hang on. I'll start at the fight. Hang on. Yep. Okay, shit. Listen to Peak while I do it. Thank you, Mordius. That was a good one, thank you. Du kan den godt nu, du kan den godt nu, du kan den godt nu. 3 gange op, og så hele vejen rundt. Op, 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 hele vejen rundt, hele vejen rundt. Højre, ned, venstre, op, venstre, ned, højre, venstre, ned. Kom op, sådan. Ja, nu er vi videre. Bum, bum. Venstre, højre, venstre, venstre, højre, højre, venstre, højre, højre, venstre, højre, venstre, højre, venstre. Nu kommer den der. Venstre, op. Nej, pis. Ind i rytmen, ind i rytmen, ind i rytmen, ind i rytmen. Pis. Det er ikke godt, det der, Kasper. Det er ikke godt nok, det er ikke godt nok. Du kan godt tage næste runde uden at hele. Firkantbevægelser, 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 firkantbevægelser. Tak. Så kommer vi så hive her. Og så med midtfri, midtfri, venstrefri, venstrefri, midtfri, midtfri, venstrefri, venstrefri, midtfri, 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 venstrefri. Frem og tilbage, frem og tilbage, venstrefri, venstrefri. Venstre op, højre ned, venstre, højre, venstre op, ned. Det er ikke godt nok det der, Kasper, du skal ramme i midten. Op, 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 venstre, op, 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 højre, op, 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 venstre, op, 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 højre, op, 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 op. Venstre op, venstre op, venstre op, venstre op, højre, ned, fuck. Den har du den her gang, det skal du have. Fuck! It's over. Ja. De kugler kun til højre og nederst første gang. What? No, I didn't want to go back and get him. It's like past midnight now. Can't believe I missed that. For me, I can't predict where that second wave of them comes in, you know? Okay, chat, that's it. No more, or else I promise you, if I don't stop now, I'm gonna be here until like 5 a.m. trying to beat Undyne, and I don't wanna do that. So thank you for watching. We'll be back, I don't know, probably next week with more of it. But pretty good, decent first attempt at Undyne, I feel. We'll see. Thank you guys.